This is the MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo. What can AI do for you? That's the question both Intel and MSI hope to answer with the new Meteor Lake-based MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo laptop. And can this laptop do more than just AI? You know what? It's slim, it's quiet, and it has battery life for days. So that just leaves us with one question. Will Meteor Lake cause an extinction-level event in the mobile space, or will it just be a small splash in a bigger pond? Well, you know what? We're gonna find that out right here, right now on Robeytech. I have been wanting to talk about this laptop for a while now. And you know me, when new hardware comes out, I love to talk about it and to help you guys get hyped for it, if hype makes sense. And this laptop is among the first of its kind. This right here is the MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo. It's a business and productivity focused laptop, but what you're about to see is it's like a veritable Swiss Army knife of laptop computing. Coming in at $1399, we're gonna show you what makes this thing special. We're actually even gonna show you how it performs in gaming as well as productivity. And we're gonna talk a bit about some of the practical ways MSI is using AI, which probably is gonna blow your mind, maybe not. Now let's dive in and check out what this thing is all about. If you couldn't tell by looking at it, the MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo is a super thin laptop. It's so thin, it can almost be used as a measurement at the deli counter. Like, hi, you know what? I'll take a half a pound of turkey, sliced MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo thick, please. Okay, that doesn't quite roll off the tongue like I thought it would, but it still was a really good joke. It measures at 14.11 inches or 358.4 millimeters wide, 10.02 inches or 254.5 millimeters deep, and 0.75 inches or 19.05 millimeters tall. And it only weighs 3.31 pounds, or just under 1.5 kilograms. It's crazy light, like you can use it as a frisbee and have your dog catch it kind of light. I kid you not, when I picked this thing up for the first time, when I was at Newegg Studios with our buddy Alex from Intel and Eugene from MSI, I was like, holy crap, this is light, dude. And I've handed this off to multiple members of the team, and everybody's just like, whoa, it's just so light. But just as Master Yoda once said, judge me not for my size, we can't just judge this laptop until we talk about what's inside. At its heart, the Prestige 16 AI Evo has the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H processor. Now, if those numbers sound unfamiliar, this is the first rollout of Intel's new naming convention for processors. Gone are the days of Core 9, it's now Core Ultra, etc. Which can be confusing, but bear with me, it'll all catch up here in the future. Now, the 155H is built on Intel's Meteor Lake architecture, and it is a seismic move from how Intel has been making CPUs. Rather than having a monolithic die, the CPU is made up of multiple tiles within a die, which allows for power to move efficiently to the right place at the right time. It is actually different than chiplets from AMD, so don't think that there's some copycatting going here. So what does this mean for the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H? It means that the CPU has 6P or performance cores, it has 8E or efficiency cores, and 2, and these are new, low power E cores with speeds up to 4.8 gigahertz. Now, for those of you who really want to nerd out, the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H also has 24 megabytes of Intel Smart Cache, which is shared dynamically across the CPU cores. And it benefits from features that have had time to mature over the years, like the Intel Thread Director. You're probably asking, Robey, that's a lot of nerd speak, but what does this mean? Don't worry, we'll get to performance later. But what it means is just, it's got a lot of places to pull performance from without turning on other chips, etc. We'll talk about that when we get to battery life later on. So let's talk about graphics. This is one of the places where we are absolutely hyped to see another thing that Intel has been maturing. That's Intel Arc graphics. And it's not a discrete GPU, meaning it's not separate from the processor. This is actually part of the CPU architecture. Now I know what you're thinking, Robey, that's heresy. You can't use integrated graphics for anything. Oh, but you can, because remember, integrated graphics are powering your Steam Deck, your Lenovo Legion, your MSI Claw. We can't think about integrated graphics the way we have in the past. So put down your torches and your pitchforks, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about all this in a bit, but hopefully some of you will be less angry once we do. The Intel Core Ultra 7 155H has 8 Intel Xe cores running at a max dynamic frequency of 2.25 gigahertz, which you're like, my eyes glazed over. That means it can do good things with games and other things. And just like the desktop versions of the ARC GPUs, it supports things like AV1 encoding and decoding, HVEC, DirectX, and yes, even ray tracing. So we actually got to experience this gaming on the MSI Claw handheld PC at CES. And the experience in and of itself was awesome. Regardless of the reviews, there's still a lot to be proud of here. I want to make a quick note of something here. If we look at the specs of the ARC graphics that are baked into the CPU, it's the same number of Xe cores that are actually inside of the A370M mobile GPU and the ARC A380 desktop GPU. So it's no slouch. And if you haven't been paying attention to our ARC graphics, you need to check out our video that we did on them just a few months back. I'm gonna tell you this up front. The information in that video is slightly out of date because Intel just keeps making ARC better and better with driver updates and supports. More so driver releases than actually almost anybody else. Now, while you're checking that out, why don't you go ahead and slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss out on videos like this one in the future. And therefore, when you watch them, you don't have to go back and watch them again. Okay, let's head back to the laptop. The integrated ARC GPU helps to power the Prestige 16 AI Evo 16-inch 1600p display. The display is an IPS display with a refresh rate of 60 Hz, and it covers 100% of the DCI-P3 color spectrum. It's hard to capture this on camera, but it's really pretty, guys. Like, really pretty. For storage, the Prestige 16 AI Evo has a 1TB NVMe SSD. Now, if you want to add an NVMe drive, there is actually an extra M.2 slot inside. But we would recommend that if you're going to do this upgrade, that you take it to a service center to get it done. Our team is pretty savvy with these things, but we did have some concerns getting the back panel off of this laptop. But it is definitely easier than some of the other MSI laptops that we've used in the past. As for system memory, the Prestige 16 AI Evo has 32 GB of LPDDR5 RAM running at 6400 megatransfer. MSI did confirm in our video that we did with Newegg, which you can actually check out right here, that the RAM is indeed actually soldered to the board. So, unfortunately, no upgrade here, but again, it feels like a really small price to pay given it's only 0.95 millimeters thick and it only weighs 3.1 pounds. That is awesome. However, 32 gigs is a respectable amount, even if some of it is shared with the integrated GPU. When it comes to external connectivity, the Prestige 16 AI Evo has 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, with a Type-C connection on both of them that supports USB 4.0, DisplayPort 1.4, and power delivery, meaning that you can plug the power cable into any one of those ports. It also has a USB 3.2 Type 2 port, which this little guy is a USB Type A port. And finally, for ports, it has an HDMI 2.1 port, which supports up to 4K 60. For connectivity, it also has Wi-Fi 7, which is blisteringly fast if you have a supporting router or connection. It has an RJ45 Ethernet port on such a thin laptop, which is awesome. It also has Bluetooth 5.4, it's got a card reader, it has a 1080p webcam with a physical shutter. It has combined audio jacks, and it has a built-in 3 microphone array, which is important and we're going to talk about in just a bit. Oh yeah, and did we mention that this laptop has one of the biggest batteries that you can legally travel with? Not only that, but MSI claims that you can get 16 hours of battery life out of it. We're going to see how much of that is true. Now, there is an ever so small thing that we forgot to mention, but since it's in the name, we wanted to dedicate some special attention to it, and that's AI. Beyond its CPU and GPU cores, the Intel Core Ultra 7 has a neural processing unit, or NPU, and gives this laptop onboard hardware AI processing. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that MSI software AI engine can do things like enhance audio, mic clarity, display, and even fan speeds for applications that you're using. This software allows users to pick and choose how they want to use AI enhancements as well. So for example, because of the 3 mic array on the Prestige 16 AI Evo, the laptop can leverage AI to actively cancel background noises like air conditioners or clicking keyboard keys during conference calls. Or let's say that you have features that you enable or disable when you're going to launch your favorite application. With the help of AI, the Prestige will automatically set the keyboard lighting, adjust display profiles, tweak audio levels, and choose the right performance settings so you can get on with your task at hand. Another cool thing that's great for anyone who works with sensitive information, things like embargo tech details or sensitive documents or maybe it's even just grandma's chocolate chip cookie recipe, is that you can have this laptop out in public at a coffee shop or airport, for example, and not have to worry about prying eyes because the Prestige 16 AI Evo will warn you when someone is coming up behind you and blur the screen automatically. And just like that, grandma's secret recipe is safe for another day. Now, we've dropped this term before, and it's literally in the name of the device, so we have to talk about it here. The MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo is an Intel Evo certified laptop. That means that MSI has gone through the rigorous checklist alongside Intel to ensure that it meets Intel standards. For example, the Intel Evo certified laptops use Intel's 13th gen or newer Core i5, i7, or i9 CPUs with integrated graphics, more than 256 gigs of NVMe storage, more than 8 gigs of dual channel memory, it's got biometric security, Wi-Fi 6E or greater, faster battery charging, a functional form factor, modern connectivity, and more. Phew, that was a lot to say. Basically, Intel Evo is like your Nintendo seal of quality that gives you peace of mind that when you're buying a laptop that has been engineered to be dependable, efficient, and performant in real-world scenarios with modern components. If you're interested in learning more about the Intel Evo platform, we have a video that lays it all out in great detail right here. Since this is a business and productivity laptop, we need to look at how well the Prestige 16 AI Evo actually performs in the Office suite. And to do that, we use PC Mark 10, which tests all of this stuff. Now, the Prestige manages to keep stride with the business and productivity focused Surface Laptop Studio 2. They basically go punch for punch when it comes to PowerPoint. But when you're talking about Word and Excel, the Prestige 16 took a 4% lead in Word and a 5% lead in Excel. However, when it came to Microsoft Edge, dang you Edge, the Surface managed to edge the MSI laptop into looking a little bit more business casual. We get a little bit of a different picture in UL Procyon, which is another way that we test productivity, where the Prestige lagged a bit behind its competition, but still came out looking pretty prestigious. It took a 4% lead in Word performance, but the overall Office productivity was about 5% behind the Surface. Now, let's talk about this for a second. It's super close to the performance of the Surface, and it cost almost $700 less. That is not a bad showing at all for a 4 to 5% gap. So, we've told you an awful lot. We've looked at specs, we've talked about AI. Now let's actually look at how the Prestige AI performed at 1600p in our gaming benchmarks. Because you're probably wondering, and you're watching mostly a gaming channel, Robey, can this thing actually game? Well, in Cyberpunk 2077, running at low settings and XeSS set to auto, we saw an average frame rate of 32 frames per second. While this does fall far below 60 FPS, and do you remember back when 30 FPS was actually good? Okay, those days have passed, but the point is Cyberpunk is still playable. In Forza Horizon 5 at high settings with XeSS set to balance, the Prestige 16 AI Evo ran at 34 frames per second. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the Prestige ran at 32 frames per second at low presets. Now, something that was really weird here, on this benchmark, it didn't actually recognize that the Arc GPU did support XeSS, so there's obviously still some driver issues to work through and some room for improvement. For Tiny Tina's Wonderland with graphics set to high and FSR 2.0 set to balance, because yes, FSR does work on Intel GPUs, we saw an average of 32 frames per second. In competitive titles like Apex Legends with visual set to low, basically making it sure it ran as fast as it could, we got an average frame rate of 50 frames per second. And finally, in Fortnite again, with low settings and TSR enabled, set to balance, which again, TSRs is their own upscaling technology, we got frames just about 50 FPS. Now we do have to give some props to Kevin, our tech director here, because even at lower frame rates, he still pulled out those dubs during testing. Now, we're gonna talk about these numbers a bit later, but we need to finish out our data set first. When recording power draw, the Prestige 16 CPU drew a meager 7.39 watt average while idle. Just as a comparison, that's around 3 watts less than the Surface Laptop Studio 2, which has been one of our low power leaders. For CPU load testing, the Prestige 16 AI Evo pulled out another low power draw magic trick by daintily sipping 35.17 watts on average with its pinky out, like it's fancy. Again, when we're comparing with the Surface, we're looking at 14.7 watt difference in favor of MSI's contender. As for gaming, during our gaming benchmarks, the average CPU power draw was only 38.24 watts and an average GPU power draw, yes, I know it's on the CPU, of only 18.41 watts. Now, what does this mean for battery life? Could we really get 16 hours of battery life out of this thing? Just so you know, sometimes those battery life predictions have requirements like not using Wi-Fi, only having the screen on like 5% brightness, not running like any applications, and doing like the hokey pokey on a weekday while Mercury is in Gatorade or something weird like that. Now, for our tests, we ran a full productivity benchmark at 75% screen brightness while using the battery mode setting. And on average, we saw around 12 to 13 hours of battery life. That is not bad at all. Now, since we're talking about power draw, we have to look at the thermal performance. At idle, the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H processor rested at an average of 38 degrees Celsius. Under full CPU load, the Prestige kept the CPU on ice with an average temperature of 71 degrees Celsius. Could this mean less cooling needed for Intel CPUs? Finally, in our gaming benchmarks, MSI's Prestige 16 AI Evo held the Core Ultra 7 155H processor at a steady average of 72 degrees Celsius. That's pretty frosty for a laptop. Okay, so now that we've looked at the data and we've talked about some numbers, let's talk about our experience and put a bow on some of our thoughts. I want to talk about the gaming frame rates to start with because that may not seem impressive at first glance, but there is a bigger story at play here. We've tested these modern titles on an integrated GPU and they were definitely playable. We couldn't say anything close to that about Intel's UHD or Iris graphics in the past. Considering that we tested the display's native QHD Plus resolution while averaging 18.4 watts on the GPU and getting frame rates over 30 on Cyberpunk, that's seriously impressive when you consider that all of this is taking place on one little part of one processor. Oh yeah, and that processor is running a GPU with the same architecture and core count of the Arc A370M or A380, but only using a fraction of that power. Were we running at the highest settings with all of the bells and whistles? No, but this processor gives us an all-in-one combo meal with a little bit of something for absolutely everyone. This laptop can do gaming within reason, it excelled at productivity, and it has a crazy long battery life. This thing is an incredibly versatile laptop, but I'm not sure that we've seen all that it's capable of. With how much Intel graphics have matured in the past year, and what we're hearing about how performance uplifts are going to be coming with driver updates for the MSI Claw, it makes us hopeful that what we're seeing today out of Meteor Lake is not the long-term picture. But that being said, there has been an update or two since the Prestige 16 AI Evo launched, and we did retest it, but we haven't seen a performance jump in gaming just yet. It's a bit of a bummer, but we're not losing hope quite yet. What isn't a bummer is that MSI's AI performance mode is pretty impressive. With that feature enabled, we may not have seen a noticeable difference in gaming performance between it and extreme performance mode, but there was a significant difference in the fan noise. With AI performance enabled, the Prestige 16 AI Evo ran at its loudest at 51.1 decibels while keeping the system cool. That's like the sound of a quiet office or a babbling brook, which I'm glad it's not a babbling brook because you'd have to like pee all the time. MSI's Prestige 16 AI Evo is like a blank canvas, but with a palette full of brilliant colors just standing by, because every bit of this laptop is full of potential. Let me explain. The screen is beautiful. The color representation is amazing and it's super vibrant. While it only has a 60 Hz refresh rate, it's complementary to the rest of its components. The processor is powerful enough to drive productivity, content creation like video encoding and decoding, and even do some light gaming, all while being fueled by a battery that could rival any Ultrabook on the market while still doing the work. The keyboard has a nice even feel to it. With soft white backlighting and a small numpad keyboard, it's great for data without taking up space with often unused keys. The touchpad is huge and responsive, the I/O is thoughtful, and the magnesium aluminum alloy chassis frames it all together in a sturdy package. Overall, it's good at a lot of things, and it really is a great launching point for Meteor Lake. This laptop really is a Swiss Army knife that will do most of what you throw at it well enough to get the job done. And at $1399, that's actually pretty impressive. And if that's not enough for you, MSI does have a version of the Prestige 16 AI Evo that comes equipped with the Core Ultra 9 185H, as well as a discrete mobile GPU up to an NVIDIA RTX 4070. We found a buffed version of the Prestige 16 AI Evo with the Core Ultra 9 and an RTX 4060 that retailed for $1899.99. It's still Evo certified, it's still rocking a Meteor Lake CPU, and it has all of the sweet features we just got finished talking about. So if you liked everything you heard about the MSI Prestige 16 AI Evo, but you're looking for a version with a discrete GPU, you're not without options. At the end of the day, I guess you could say that this laptop has the potential to make a pretty big splash. Time will tell how cataclysmic, though, that splash is gonna be. So these are our impressions of the Prestige 16 AI from MSI. But we want to know what you think. Let us know all that down in the comments below. Now, while you're down there, make sure you slap that subscribe button with that like button and ring that notification bell so that you get a notification each and every time we post a video like this right here at Robeytech. And if you want to continue the conversation, talk more about the laptop, head it over to our Discord server, discord.gg/Robeytech, where we have other tech and PC enthusiasts and laptop enthusiasts who'd love to continue the conversation. And who knows, you might make a friend. Anyway, also follow us on all the other socials at Robeytech everywhere. That's it for us. Thank you for watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.